Free Speech Union has welcomed the IPCA, that's the Independent Police Conduct Authority's review on the policing of public protests after a pattern of police failing to uphold the rights of Kiwis, the free speech rights of Kiwis. This has been a report that's been in the making for quite some time. It was released yesterday, and it has echoed a number of concerns held by the Free Speech Union that police are disrespecting New Zealanders' free speech rights. A lot of this also happened around the Posie Parker protest as well, and her inability to actually speak. Nathan Seiuli is with the Free Speech Union and joins us now. Nathan, g'day, welcome to the program.
Morning, Duncan. Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. Hey, what's your take on this?
Yeah, well, as you said, we welcome the report that IPCA has put out, but mainly on the grounds that it opens up a much needed discussion. We really need to look at what's been happening over the last few years and really assess whether or not what's happening is correct. We don't believe it is. You said that we're disrespecting rights. We actually think they're outright abusing Kiwi speech rights. And we actually don't think that it's appropriate. We're ready to have this discussion and to plug in and find a solution outside of creating a whole bunch of new restrictive laws that easily just be taken and tangled and used against Kiwis even more.
Well, I wonder if it was also an interpretation as well. All this comes back to their training, surely, and what they're told, what they're taught, what the ideology,
Exactly.
or if there's ideological training at the time. I mean, I know that you guys spoke last year about this ideological training. What's going on? How are they? What do you know about what the police are told in terms of their training and how to approach this issue?
Exactly. Well, the report outlines that there were a few contributing factors from their perspective, but one of them was they thought the law was unclear. We actually think it's got far more to do, as you say, with the training. We exposed that training last year after being sent it by a police officer who was deeply concerned about what they were being educated around. We sat down with the commissioner at the time and had a very robust discussion. It wasn't very friendly at all, but at the end of the day, we came out with an understanding and an agreement that they would stop that training, they would reassess it, and they'd actually provide us with an uncensored and unedited version of that training. Now, this happened last year. We still haven't received that training. And you might have excuses such as, there's a new chief in town or whatever, but it's actually unacceptable from public servants, people who are there to protect our rights, not to enforce restrictions on us. And they do this under the guise of public safety. Well, we actually believe the police exist to enforce the law, to uphold the rule of law, not to make us the safest country, but to make us the most prosperous and free country. So the training is 100% what we think is a huge contributing factor to this misenforcement or sort of inconsistent enforcement of the law, because it's super inconsistent. They can't claim that they don't understand the law. It's that they haven't applied it consistently.
Well, I actually think it's also worse than that. They have not only haven't they applied it consistently, but they've applied it inconsistently. But also, I don't think they understand the law, and I think there's a varying degree of understanding. Now, some police officers will understand the law, others won't, and it's a bit of a lottery. I reckon. I've been at all sorts of protests over the years where I've seen police take sides. Now, if you're taking sides on highly subjective issues, then you're in trouble, man. You only have to be there to look at the law. The law should be the only thing that you are having to interpret it at that time.
Exactly. Well, the way we see it, the law has done a fantastic job at what it's written to do over the last few decades. It's recently that we've seen ideological interpretation and some capture come into the picture. Now, we oppose that completely. There's no way that police should be taking subjective stances on these issues. But within the 3 incidents outlined in their review, 2 of them were wrongful arrests, which we still have not seen an apology for to those people, Lucy Rogers and Daniel, who we represented. And the third one was they just failed to do their job completely on the day, and it wasn't until huge public pressure after the fact that they actually responded. And some people question whether that was actually a severe enough punishment on the part of those 2 aggressors. Now, we have to wonder at protests, when police are arresting people for their own safety as opposed to the aggressors or the people posing the threat, what are they trying to achieve? They're not enforcing the law. That's authoritarian rule, and that's actually an abuse of rights and power.
Have we seen more of this as a result of the lockdowns and as a result of COVID, which was outrageously policed and heavily policed, much of it unlawfully? Have we seen police step back from those powers, or have some of them interpreted as powers that continue?
I think you're onto something there. I think what we saw at the parliamentary protests of 2022 was extremely concerning. It's getting the precedent for police to see reasonable and what their powers are capable of achieving in a protest situation. That seems to have continued. But like I say, it's been applied inconsistently. There's some issues where they've been absolutely lackluster and lazy to respond, and then there's some where they've come down with the full hammer of justice and been completely illegal in their action. And yeah, we would love to see a resolution here. We'd love to see a little bit of a conversation. But we would love to be a part of it and not to leave it to, for lack of better terms, the wolves watching the hen house. We don't think that they should be making the rules. We think that there should be a conversation where there's input from multiple parties and that we actually find an outcome that protects people's liberties, not that increases police powers to oppress people.
Yeah, I reckon it all comes down to their training as well. I mean, and you've asked for their training manual. Have you asked for the information? You still yet to receive it? Is that correct?
Yeah, we had a conversation last year, and as I say, it was fairly competitive. The police were pretty unhappy with how we publicly communicated around the issue. But that's our job at the Free Speech Union. You know, we have people supporting us up and down the country to tell them what the state of free speech is. Now, off the back of that conversation, we were promised a copy of that training, and we requested it to be an unedited, unfiltered version, because the parts we saw were extremely concerning. They were telling police officers what sort of signs to pursue and sort of what speech to look for, and how to ideologically interpret that, and what that might mean for public safety and protests. Now, we still haven't received that training, and we've asked for it multiple times. So we're not exactly sure what the police think they can do and get away with here, but we won't stand for it.